All right. Hello and welcome. I am super pumped today to be talking to Alison Bartolo from healthymunchkins.com.au about how you can start a side business if you're working in corporate, and how, network marketing and doing something a little bit different could very well be the right path for you. So I know Ali from way back when. My best friend went to school in the UK, went to University of Durham, and that's how I met Ali. Ali and Michelle were at the same college, and we had lots and lots of fun. So we go way back, and it's been such a gift to see Ali on her journey to creating this business with her husband, and I'm really excited to introduce her today. But Ali, do you want to say a quick hello and a quick introduction about what you do?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure. And yeah, it feels absolutely fantastic to be talking to you and see you grow on your journey as well. So this is absolutely phenomenal. I now run a doTERRA business, which was never my intention or my plan. But in 2 years, we grew a business that is a six-figure income for our family. So pretty phenomenal for something we didn't really want to do, but to be able to really support people in natural health and well-being. So far removed from what I thought I would be doing, and really excited to be able to share a little bit about that today with you. So
well, super excited that you're here. And it's funny, like in my circles, I've been hearing a little bit more about doTERRA. I've been hearing about more of these network marketing businesses that are coming up, and I think they can be such a beautiful opportunity for women, particularly the women I speak to, the corporate women who want to do something meaningful. They want to be an entrepreneur, but maybe they don't have an idea. And, they also want to earn like a side income so that before they make that leap, they've got something tangible. And I think what you've done with doTERRA has been such an inspiration, which is why I wanted to connect with you today and have you share with our audience, like, what is it that you did and how did you make this happen? Because it's pretty impressive to create a six-figure income for your family and be able to live a life that, is not just meaningful to you, I guess, as a woman and as a mother, but also, provide for your family, which is what I know a lot of women come to me asking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So for us, in terms of where we started, like I was working in project management, and I loved that. Like I really did love that. I think I've thrived in that field. But once I had a baby and I chose actively to work 3 days a week as opposed to 5 days a week, it's quite hard to be given a role. Projects need 5-day attention. And I agree with that. And especially as I became an employer down the track, I understand that for an employer's perspective. So I didn't have an issue with that so much, but it is hard to be sort of demoted when I became a parent into a less responsible role with a less responsible income, just because I was making that choice to be, more time, having more time with my child, but also still spending 3 days a week away from my child and paying somebody else daycare fees. Almost half of my salary was sucked straight away into daycare fees for somebody else to bring up my baby, and that felt just all types of wrong, basically. So for us, I know you know this, but we decided like enough is enough, and we decided to start our own business. So we actually opened a cafe, and I think now that I look back and I see this, it was the beautiful stepping stone to where we are now, but it was really a move away from what we didn't want. So we didn't want to be away from our kids. We didn't want to be paying daycare fees. We didn't want someone else to be telling us what to do. I was really keen to step into my own power and be my own boss. And so it was a lot of stepping away from what was not working. But I know that I hadn't really tuned into myself. I'd never taken the time to really step back and say, what do I want? What is my dream life? What is my purpose? What is my passion? What am I here on this planet to do? How can I serve people? How can I help people? How can I bring light and life and joy to the world? It was, well, let's have a cafe because I like cake. It wasn't really, not that I really particularly do, but it's just, it was all about getting away from what we didn't want. And it was brilliant. We loved our cafe. I loved the fact that we didn't have to have our kids in daycare anymore, that our kids, pretty much grew up at the cafe, that we built this beautiful community. We really did, embrace the community aspect of, which is what I was craving without realizing it, and what we created without realizing it. But then, without even knowing it, we basically, we discovered these beautiful essential oils, and we started having really powerful powerful experiences, both physically and emotionally with them, and we're able to start detoxing our home and replace all our toxic cleaning products and use them on our body products. And I've suddenly kind of became conscious and aware of what we're putting on our bodies, and particularly women, we just flood our bodies with synthetic chemicals all day, every day, basically. And to be able to learn about that and really wake up and realize that I really cared about that. And this was, you know, and then learning about it and thinking, well, I want other people to know this, and just tuning into, what I feel like I'm here for. So it was definitely a fantastic stepping stone, and it helped me with a lot of my entrepreneurial skills, a lot of my marketing, a lot of my blocks with money, which we won't have time to go into today. But I certainly, just as a quick, story about it, but, as people would come into the cafe to start with, we would charge them $4 or whatever it is for a cafe, for a coffee. And, then that person, I'd get chatting to them as we're making the coffee, and then they'd come in the next day and they'd bring their little child, like, oh, look, my little girl's over there too, like, come meet them. And then next week we'd go for a play in the park. And then the next time they came in for a coffee, I'd be like, I can't charge them. I can't charge this person for their coffee. They're my friend, and there was this whole, and I would back away and be like, well, I'm not going to take the money at the till. I will make coffee, or I will serve tables. And I really, really had this big struggle with money. And I think that's one of the big sort of ideas that people have about network marketing, is that, well, you have to ask your friends for money. And it's actually not like that at all. But it certainly does bring in or highlight that, that acceptance and allowing and flow and understanding energy. Money is just energy. And just acceptance, and that I'm deserving of and worthy to receive, which was a massive blockage for me. So the cafe was a beautiful stepping stone for us, a massive learning curve that really brought this business into our lap without us really knowing. So it was all about the oils, all about the experiences we were having. And then moving on from there, it was friends saying, how come you're always so calm, or how come your kids never get sick, or how come when they do get sick it's just gone, or how come this, or how come that. And I was like, oh, well, you have to try these oils. Let's try this. And I think the people that are drawn to doTERRA are healers who just want to give. And again, I think there's this lack of allowing to receive that energy exchange. It's all about giving. And I think especially when you come into motherhood, you just turn into a just 100% a giver, and you just forget how to receive. So it's just that, again, just learning that exchange. So it was the beautiful lady who introduced me to the oils, who said, well, how about we just run some classes for you? And I thought, oh, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get involved in that. I just want to help my friends, sort of thing. She said, well, you can help them by letting them have access to these beautiful oils as well. And so sort of shifted that. And before we knew it, and we had an amazing business. We've got 1,600 families on our team who now use oils every day, instead of synthetics, instead of toxic cleaning products, instead of all the horrible stuff you can buy at the shop. So it's been completely organic, but it didn't come from this it just came through the oils, really. This is just the oils that started it. And then I look back and I see how my journey's unfolded and how it's been absolutely perfect, but I didn't know that at the time, as ever.
It's always like that, right? Life unfolds, and when you look backwards, you can connect the dots. But when you're in the thick of something, like when you were at your project management job and, had to go down to 3 days a week because you had your baby, I can imagine it's like, oh, what do I do? And it can be so uncomfortable. But it actually turns out to be the biggest blessing. And, there's a massive silver lining, which, we can't always see at the time. But you shared so much cool stuff there, Alison, like in terms of like, motherhood and like figuring out how you're going to be there for your kids and figure out your career. And what I particularly love about what you and Anthony have done is like, you've been very conscious in terms of like creating that dream life and getting clear on what's important to you, and then saying, okay, we're going to figure it out. And you shared like starting the cafe. It sounds like, you guys are action takers, clearly, right? I'm guessing there was still a big leap to say, hey, we're going to do this. Let's start a brick and mortar business that, takes guts. I live in Hong Kong, so real estate, I'm like, whoa, that's a tough thing. But with your story, what you shared, I love how you were interested in the oils. It came from a genuine desire to help your family. You got the benefit. And then from there, this opportunity came to start a business. And it sounds like this avenue has been not just a beautiful business opportunity and brought you in, you know, the money and like the things that we need to support our families, but it sounds like there's been some huge personal growth too with the money blocks and everything as well.
Absolutely. I mean, this whole business is a personal development business, just wrapped up in some beautiful essential oils that heal you along the way. So that's one of the sort of terms that we use. And without doing the personal development, you basically can't progress. And well, you can't progress. No, basically you can't progress because you grow in belief. So we have ranks in our business, and when you achieve the next rank, you get, you know, larger amount of commission. And really they've got this beautiful belief summit that's based on different stages of belief. So when you're really starting those early ranks, it's all about belief in the oils. So it's just as you're starting to have these experiences, and you can't help but share that with your friends and want to help your friends receive the same benefits. So that's, you know, that's how you get to those early stages. But moving forward, it's then onto the company. So this company is so incredibly ethical. They are literally changing the face of business, not just essential oil business, but of business. They are business based on doing the right thing. And a lot of companies might say that, but actually to see a company doing that, they're working with heaps of developing countries, and actually they've I can't remember the exact figures now, but there's the number of lives they've impacted in terms of not just the farmers who are, you know, harvesting the oils, but those communities. They build schools, they build medical facilities, and they give microloans to you know, disabled and to disadvantaged people, so they're able to build up their businesses in the local community. So the whole community is thriving, not just the essential oil farmers. They work with established organizations like Operation Underground Railroad, which is all about rescuing kids from child sex trafficking, which is just phenomenal. And Tony Robbins has now gotten involved in that. They work with Days for Girls, which is about empowering women to actually be educated about their menstrual cycle, because it's incredible that these women don't even know how they get pregnant. They have no idea how it even happens. They are putting sticks and leaves inside them when they're bleeding because they have no sanitary items at all. So to be able to go out there with hygiene packs, which is what a lot of our team make, and then actually distribute them out to them and teach them about their cycle, and teach the men about the cycle, and teach about the safety of the women and how the girls can still go to school when they're bleeding and just be given the right support and all these things. So, you know, that's kind of the next level of belief, is this company, which is just really phenomenal. I recommend everyone research it, because otherwise I can't stop talking about it. But yeah, the next
shines through.
But it's so beautiful. But the next rank after that, it's easy for anyone to learn about the company and see what they're doing and just be blown away by it. The next belief level is belief in yourself. And this is where we see a lot of people crumble, because if you're not doing the personal development and you're not listening to your own voice and finding your true inner passion and really tuning into who you really are and what you really are meant to be doing with your life, then you're just going to crumble. So you have to, it's unavoidable. You can get so far and you can be passionate about it, but you can't move on any further. So that's really where we help people. As we step into our leadership roles, we're really helping people with their belief in themselves. So regardless of the essential oils, it's like, and I remember Anthony saying this really early on in the business, because you don't earn very much initially. Like, you know, it's all about, you invest your time initially, and then the financial reward comes. You get paid, you know, about right for a little amount of time, and for the rest of the time you get paid really well. But there's this investment phase where you can get, you know, your oils for free and a little bit supplemented for a little while. But that, I remember saying to Anthony, it just feels really right. I don't know whether this is like, you know, real, but it just feels really right. Just everything in my body is saying yes to this. And he just said, well, I don't really care for it. He said, it doesn't really matter if we don't make any money, because the things that's brought to our life so far is just so worth everything we're putting in. And I just stepped back and was like, no, he wasn't even really involved in the business, but he could just see the journey that I was going on as a person, and how I was changing my communication style, not just in my business, but with my family, and who I was becoming, and how I was really owning how I was feeling, and saying no to things that I used to always say yes to, and, you know, all these different things. So, you know, you can really just see it, and, you know, you can transfer that to anything in your life, any relationships in your life. So, you know, in terms of that, and one of the things you brought up was really that difference between a, you know, bricks and mortar business and network marketing business is because, yes, the investment is more of your time really up front, because when we bought our cafe, we had to buy the cafe, we had to buy equipment, we had to pay staff to be in there. We, you know, our electricity bill in our first year was $13,000 or something. We, you know, just to have the pay pass, the like, I don't know what we had the FPOS. We used to pay $6,000 a year in bank fees just to have the machine. And it's just like, if you look at the cost of running a doTERRA business, it's about 120 Australian dollars a month. And for that, you receive all the oils which replace all your body products and all your medication and all your home stuff. So it's not really, for me, it's the zero cost, you know, it's actually saving me money. And that's it. That's my outlay. I don't have to worry about staff. I don't have to worry about finding people to employ. I really, the only people that are going to do well are the people who are going to put in the effort and work. And if someone's not doing it, their business just won't thrive. I don't have to fire them. You know, it's just a completely different dynamic. And I just, the comparison in terms of the stress of a bricks and mortar business, the investment financially, the having to be there, you know, we have to be there at 5:30 to open the doors, otherwise it's not open. Whereas, you know, we went away to Tasmania last May and we were just gone for the whole month. Most of the time didn't have Wi-Fi. We came back and our business had grown by like 12% or something. It's like, okay,
that's super incredible.
More like it.
And I think it's so beautiful to remember, because when I speak to a lot of women, like with what you're showing with the different stages of the belief framework, like that part about personal development, I believe applies to life in general, right? You've got to do that so that you can reach those higher levels of not just success, but fulfillment. And it's really the two that go together in order to feel like, yes, you're working towards something important. But what you're saying as well about investing your time and knowing that that's something that's going to be worthwhile. A lot of the women I speak to, they're working in corporate or, you know, they're mothers. So time is something that's limited. And I think we can forget and be we don't hold that boundary. We can kind of let it be all loosey goosey, and you have to be mindful that actually time is money. And, you know, yes, you can start a proper business and a bricks and mortar business, but, you know, this is a beautiful opportunity to start something at low cost. But yeah, you're going to have to put in your effort, your time and energy to build it. And that's a pretty like, what was I going to say? It's like puts you in the driving seat. Like, you don't have to rely on the rent your landlord's going to charge. You don't have to be dependent on bank fees. It's like, no, I'm going to make this work. How can I be smart? How can I manage my time? And for the mothers listening, you know, this is an exciting opportunity to really think about how, you know, whether this feels good to you as you hear Ali speaking, like think about like, what is it that you're passionate about? Are you passionate about health and your kids, you know, skincare, your skincare? Is this something that is of interest? And maybe this could be a potential avenue for you. Like, I'm not selling doTERRA at all. I just love Ali and her work. But, you know, my inspiration and my goal for having Ali on here is just to show you that there is a different way. We can be so focused on the corporate world of like climbing the ladder, having to earn the salary from an employer. And Alison is like proof in the pudding that you can create a really successful business in a completely different model. And sometimes we just need to realize that there are other business models out there that we can get behind. We don't have to necessarily be an entrepreneur in like the traditional sense in terms of a cafe owner or, you know, having a different type of product-based business. You can get behind something like doTERRA. And if it aligns to your passion, then it's something to explore.
Yeah. And with that, I think what's really fabulous in terms of with a lot of the people building the business on my team is that they are still working. So when it's not like you have to jump ship. Like, so for us, when we bought the cafe, you know, Anthony gave up his other job and we set up the cafe. So it's like, well, you're all in, you're working 7 days a week and you've invested everything financially. You've got to get that back. Whereas this way it is more of a, like you say, a dip your toe in. So a lot of our, you know, even some of my key leaders, they're still working full-time shift work, but as long as what I always say is it's the consistency. So it's fine to do it full-time if you like, it's fine to do it part-time if you like, but doing it sometimes is not going to work because it's the consistency. If you're sometimes doing it, sometimes not, that energy flow is just not there. So I say, even if you just do one class a month or meet with one person a month, like that's pretty minimal. But if you're growing and moving forward, then you're growing and moving forward. So you're building what we call the pipeline. So the whole idea behind network marketing is that you're building a pipeline. So there's the story of the guy who's walking and collects water for money. So he's walking to the river back to the village, and every time he walks back with a bucket full of water, he gets paid, which is like our job, right? You put the hours in, you get paid. And then he thinks, well, there must be an easier way to get the water back to the village. So in his spare time, in his extra time, he starts building this pipeline, literally building the pipeline. So he works a little bit extra than everybody else, but after a certain period of time, he turns on the tap in the village, and he's there sitting in the village with his feet up and letting, people are paying him for the water, and he's no longer doing the work. So that's the idea, is that you're stopping from hauling buckets and in the rat race and working for somebody else, and you're actually spending that little bit of extra time, and you choose, basically, the more time you put into building the pipeline, the faster it's going to be finished. It's a simple analogy, but it's just true. And some people take 7 years to reach diamond, which is the rank that we are, and that's totally okay. If it took me 7 years, like how long would it take in the job that you're in now to receive a residual income that's going to be growing for the rest of your life? If I had to invest 7, even 10 years, oh my goodness, if we'd spent another 10 years in the cafe, we would not have created a residual income. We would still have to wake up at 5:30 every morning and be there. So you choose your pace. And that is totally okay. And we really support, especially mums. Sometimes they're working full-time and full-time mums, and and building a doTERRA business, and that's okay. Like we can manage around that. And one of the other beautiful things about working in network marketing, particularly in doTERRA, because they've sort of turned the whole model upside down, is that you actually, every person who ever does an order, so most of our team actually order oils every single month because they replace all sorts of things across their home. And every time somebody does an order, 7 families receive a smaller percentage of that order. So 7 families are being supported. So what we'll often do is we actually place like people that know each other together in that same team, so that every time one family does an order, another family is actually benefiting from that. So we'll actually keep people together. And so it just builds this beautiful community. And say one of them is choosing to do the business, but is, maybe, like, for example, one of my friends, she fell pregnant and just completely incapacitated with morning sickness, which I completely understand, happened to me too. So I stepped up, and other members stepped up and ran classes for her in her team and helped her for her business to grow, even while she was completely out of it, because financially we're all interwoven and interlinked and driven, not just financially, because you create this beautiful community where everyone's supporting each other anyway, so you want to help out your friends. So it just builds this beautiful community where we're all literally working together for a common goal. And that's one of the things I love. It's literally the to get to where you need to go, you have to help other women. It's generally women, they're not all women, but you have to help them rise. You have to help them step up into their own new rank, which is their own belief and their self-belief. So if I can help other women believe in themselves, I am literally going to grow in my business. I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than that. So it is a beautiful model, and not something I was ever aware of. And I personally have had 0 experience with network marketing. I didn't actually know what network marketing was. I had no idea. And everyone's like, oh, network marketing, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, because it has a negative connotation about it, to be honest, right? Like, people don't really sign up and say, I want to be a network marketer.
Yeah, but I had no idea what that I'm like, why is no one like this? This is really good. And so now I've found out more, like, people's stories about how they've been stung and stuff, but it's just, when you listen to the model, it's just completely the opposite. So there's a lot of connotation with a pyramid scheme. So that's the word that gets flies around a lot, right? So pyramid scheme, where you've got one person at the top, and then the next people and the next people, and the person at the top earns the most amount of money, and it's about whoever got in first, basically.
Right.
And with doTERRA, it's literally couldn't be further from the truth. It's not like that at all. Basically, the harder you work, the more your business grows, the more you get paid. So there are people in my business down here who are earning more than the people up here, because they have structured their business and they're doing more work. So you can't just earn more just purely because you came in first. It just doesn't work like that. It's yeah, the idea that the person at the top makes the most money, there's plenty of people above me that are earning less than me. So it's hard to sort of explain the whole compensation plan, but that's just, it's not true. But what it does is it builds these beautiful communities, these teams. We actually build sort of legs of people like down, so that they're all supporting each other, and it looks really beautiful and it feels really beautiful, and it's got no like, the whole idea behind a pyramid scheme is it's actually illegal, and there's no product, and it's just about the opportunity. So actually in doTERRA, 85% of people who join doTERRA simply use the oils for their own use. They never share with anybody else. They never build a business. They just use them as we do, as their, medicine cabinet, as their emotional toolkit, as their for all their cleaning stuff. So a very small percentage of people are actually building the business. And so you can choose whether you come into it as just someone who's going to love the oils, whether you're choosing to come into it to build a business, or whether you just want to get your oils for free and share with a few people every now and then. So it's completely open.
So you really are a healer in every sense of the word. It's like the product is healing. It can help with, medicine cabinet, cleaning products, what you put on your skin. But also I love that philosophy where you're building like legs and you're supporting other people as well. And like, it's about personal development, growth. And honestly, it's a fantastic business model for mums who want to work, but don't necessarily want to go back to the corporate grind.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
If someone's listening to this right now and they're like, okay, I'm curious to play with these oils for personal use, but also like, maybe this could be a new career path for me. What would you say is the next step? How do they know if this business model is right for them, and if using doTERRA products are right for them personally with,
yeah, absolutely,
all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, reach out to me and I'm more than happy to have a chat with you. There are so many oils. So it's, there's so much to it, and it's really about the person's individual needs. So let's discuss what your needs are in your home. Are your priorities, low tox cleaning? Are your priorities that someone has struggles, with breathing, or is it somebody's struggling with skin issues, or is there something in the home that we can actually show you? I can send you some oils and you can actually try them and experience them and really feel them. And they're not just, they're biologically active, so they work physiologically on the body, which is what I needed because I was a complete skeptic initially. So whether or not you're interested in them in the sort of scientific term and you want to see all the science and research that's out there, or whether you're working with them in a really energetic way, they are very highly energetic. So whichever sort of side of the spectrum you're on, you can experience that. So if you're looking to just experience them for their, benefits in the, on your physical body, we can work with you as to what your priorities are. If you're interested in using them in finding out what your purpose and passion is, which might not be a doTERRA business, but it might be like, I know there's something more. I know I'm not supposed to be in this job. I know I'm worth more than my life is right now. And it might not be doTERRA, but the oils themselves can actually help with you tuning into who you are and how you can actually find that. So they work on an emotional level in the body. We do a half-day workshop on this, but the oils go inside your cells, which is kind of one of the key points about them. So they're lipid soluble, which means they can penetrate a cell membrane and penetrate to the inside. So the things that hang out on the insides of cells are things like viruses, which other drugs can't get into, which is why generally with a virus they say you can't do anything. But the oils can actually enter your cell when you're under that threat. The other things that go inside of the cells are your information, your emotions, which are information carrying molecules that penetrate to the inside of the cell. So they impact your cellular health, which impacts your physical health and your emotional health. So they are actually working on your body. And so if we can actually get those oils onto your body when you're doing emotional work, so if you hopefully if you're looking outside or looking inside yourself as to what is your purpose, what is your passion, who am I, all those sorts of questions, hopefully you're doing things like journaling, hopefully you're doing things like meditation, hopefully you're spending a lot of time outside and touching the trees, because that's basically what the oils are. They're in nature. There's pure oils from the trees. It's like touching Mother Earth. So hopefully you're doing all those things that we know are really supportive to tuning into ourselves. And if you use a same oil, the same smell trigger, every time you do that, so say for example, if you were to do a meditation, and every single time you do a meditation you smell a particular oil, so just for example, Roman chamomile is the oil of spiritual purpose, so this might be one that you like to maybe make a roller, or maybe put a drop on your wrist and just breathe, or on your palm and just breathe that in before every meditation. Then what that's going to do is, when we breathe in smells, we actually take them through obviously through our nose, but that actually enters what's called the olfactory system. It goes into our limbic system. Now, the limbic system is that central part of your brain that manages moods, states, emotions, and also long-term memory. So this is why we have this huge like trigger. So if you smell a smell from your childhood, you smell like your nanny's perfume, or you maybe smell an aftershave of someone that was not very pleasant to you, you're going to immediately have this emotional connection with the smell. And sometimes you can't actually remember what the actual physical memory is. You might think, oh, I feel love, or I'm feeling angry, but what is that smell? What is that smell? What is that smell? But you've got the feeling, and you're trying to link the feeling with the actual memory. So the feeling is, you can actually alter your state, your emotional state in your body within 4 to 7 seconds, because it is immediate. It's in that same part of the brain. So if you were to use that oil every time you're meditating or whatever it is, then you are creating a new neural pathway, a new trigger, a new anchor in your brain, so that down the track, when you're feeling out of whack and you're not feeling aligned at all, and you're like completely lost, and you're just not feeling yourself, you can whip out this smell and you will immediately bring yourself back to that same feeling that you have when you meditate, without having to meditate.
That's really cool.
Incredibly powerful tool, but you do have to do the work. So you can't just use it as an anchor, a sort of crutch. So a lot of people will say, oh, this smell makes me feel calm. Okay, so they go into a stressful situation, like a work that's really toxic, and they smell the smell and it makes them feel calm. They go into the toxic work position, they smell it, they feel calm. But then once they've left that job, every time they smell that smell, they just feel that toxic environment that they were in, because they haven't actually done the work. They haven't done the meditation, or they haven't done the go for a walk, or they haven't done the centering and grounding. So there's lots of exercises you can do with the oils. Beautiful thing called aromatic dressing, which is just beautiful. Don't have time to go into it now, but there's so many ways we can actually use these oils. There's an amazing book, this one called Emotions and Essential Oils.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
And this goes through every single oil and what its actual meanings are. So for example, blue tansy, you can see here, is the oil of inspired action. So if you're wanting to be creative, this is the perfect one to get out. If you're wanting to manifest something, like Litsi is the oil of manifestation. So you can create blends that really mean something to you. So when you're working on your goals, you can have like a goal setting blend, and you're writing out what your goals are, and you have that diffusing, or you have that in your palms, and you really anchor in that feeling in your body, so that it's so powerful. You're such a powerful energetic force, and you're bringing the energetic force of these oils into it, and reestablishing that every time you do it, so that down the track it's literally a natural response within your body.
I love that. And everything is energy, right? It's not just the actions we do. We've got to have the energy behind it. So that is really cool. I want to ask you more, and I might be hitting you up to actually have a conversation about some more other things. But for those of you listening, if you're interested in playing with the oils, whether for your own personal use, for figuring out your purpose, or hey, this maybe is a business model I might like to explore, then I invite you to go and follow Ali's Facebook page, which is Alison and Anthony Healthy Munchkins. And if you have any questions, just message her there, or if you're not on Facebook, then it's hello@healthymunchkins.com.au. All of these links will be below the video, but reach out. She's really here to help, and she's got a lot of knowledge to share. We only had a short time today, and I know we could go on for hours and hours. So continue the conversation there, and take her up on her offer to figure out what's right for you. So Ali, thank you so much for coming. It's been such a pleasure, and I can't wait to speak to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.